I mean, just a question for you. I mean, I understand that, and I guess me and you are quite aligned on this also. But maybe perhaps for the viewers that are more risk adverse, right? Like they're afraid of this sudden drop. What do you recommend, or what do you see as a potential rotation or kind of movement into short? Should they take it out into, ETFs, indexes, or maybe we always make fun of it lah, but maybe SSB even? Like what do you think is the right, not right, but optimal kind of movement if they just don't want to experience that fluctuation volatility?
Again, I think it goes back to two things, right? Your risk appetite and your age. Because really, if you're on a 20-30-year horizon, the stock market will even itself out over it will definitely compound over time.
Compound over time.
So drawing out that money now, you're just not gonna compound. You're gonna look, but
you lose the compounding, right? Yeah. To me, I'm happy if they come and spend, right? Because it's like, hey, look, you come and spend, right? Then you contribute to our economy, and then like it's overall a net gain, like macro. It's like a public good when they spend money. I don't know.
You just want them to invite you, lah.
I mean, yes, if anybody watching, me and Terrence would love to, share the Magnum bottle, Ace of Spades, whatever lah. We never tried before. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, I mean, to be fair, it doesn't really affect me because it's like, I mean, for me, it's like they live their own lifestyle. They earn the money, but then they use the money to do what? Leave in the bank, look at it. Pretty cannot be what they have to spend it. Hi everyone, welcome to BurgBoys. I'm Max.
I'm Terrence.
And this is your weekly dive into the most interesting news with our reactions and takes on what's happening.
So Max, 1 week break. How come?
I went to Bali.
How's Bali?
This happened in Bali.
And you drank too much lah. Fell off a bike, right?
I fell off a bike. I actually fell off a bike. So my friend told me that I was literally sleeping on the back of the bike back to my my accommodation. I was
that's so dangerous.
It was, but you know what?
You're such a bad role model.
No, but I have very strong core, so I didn't fall down.
Yeah. So I think we are both on holidays.
Yes. Where did you go?
I went to New Zealand. Wow, super beautiful. Super beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the only photos you sent me is of beer. I didn't see any scenery.
Because I know that you don't care about the scenery.
I care, bro. I go Kyrgyzstan.
Hey, by the way, Max is a travel vlogger as well.
Yes, I have.
One day he'll share in the link below.
One day I'll share. I'll plug myself.
Yeah, his TikTok.
My TikTok account. Yeah. Post some of my travels, but it's going to become more of a lifestyle thing. I don't know. We'll see.
But to be fair, I don't think there were a lot of exciting news over the last 1 week, 2 weeks.
Yeah, it was a bit slow, no?
Yeah,
it was a bit slow.
I think a lot of interesting developments internationally.
Fair.
Recently, the Trump visiting all the Southeast Asia.
Do you see him dancing at the Malaysia one?
Amazing.
Wow, that was hilarious.
Yeah. Maybe one day Lawrence Wong can do that. Okay. Anyway, today short one we only have two topics to talk about.
Let's go into it.
So very first topic is that recently a lot of the leading voices, business voices, have suggested that we might be in a bubble.
Yep, I heard it.
And I think this news is particularly relevant to both of us because we are also heavily vested, right?
Yeah.
A big portion of our
we are quite
liquid, right? So Jamie Dimon, Ray Dalio, Sam Altman are saying that we might be in an AI bubble, right? Where we've seen a lot of the tech companies rocketing upwards.
Look at the Nvidia chart.
Yeah, almost double this year.
It's crazy.
And S&P is almost hitting 7,000 points soon.
Yeah.
Maybe it might even hit when the video is published already.
Yeah. Right? You never know, right?
So, what are your thoughts on this sudden rise? Do you agree? And are you changing your allocation basically?
I guess for me, do I agree there's a bubble? I guess based on historical kind of patterns where we see not just pricing wise, but more of even market sentiment, I do think there is a bubble, right? But then at the same time, if you ask me, am I changing my allocation? I wouldn't say I would be changing it much. I would be keeping the same, because I guess when I made the decisions to go into all these kind of assets, right, in specific stocks or specific crypto, I had a really long-term plan conviction behind it, 5 to 10 years, right? So I guess with that in mind, I'm not worried about the volatility that might occur eventually, and to be honest, do any of us know how the market's going to go?
True.
To be fair, we don't, right? Yeah. So
yeah, I think from my perspective, I can see why people are suggesting that there could be a bubble because one, you look at the earnings multiple, it's definitely higher than historical averages.
Correct.
Which suggests that potentially there could be a reversion at some point in time. So I think that's the main thesis, right? And you see a lot of the AI names, they are trading at crazy multiples, right? Whether it's in private market or in the public markets. But to me, I feel like companies today are also better quality. than 20 to 30 years ago.
Yeah.
What I mean is that you look at their operating margins are definitely, I mean, these
Very
tech
high.
companies are significantly ahead of the Coca-Colas, McDonald's, right? So I think we are also, at the same time, we are at a different climate.
Correct.
The second thing I feel is that, let's say today you take some cash, take some money out of the sidelines, right?
Yeah.
What are you really going into as well? Because sometimes, what we've seen historically was, let's say stocks is all-time high, but you can hedge with gold or something like that.
Correct.
Gold's all-time high.
Yep.
Crypto is also somewhat all-time high.
Yeah, 116 for BTC recently. Right?
Stock market all-time high.
Yep.
Japanese also, like Nikkei.
Yeah, you were just telling me. I was like,
in the 80s, it finally broke, but now it's like non-stop going up.
Yeah.
Shanghai Composite also at an all-time high. So the question is, where are we? What are you going to go into as well? Are you going to see so much money in cash as well?
Fair. And we always have been saying this, alluded to this in our previous videos also, that, holding cash is not the way to go, right?
Yeah.
Given this huge inflationary climate, monetary debasement, all this.
I think it depends, because when we say that, for example, we have one colleague who's going to buy a house in 6 months' time. So, of course, if let's say today you have a sudden need for the money,
yes,
then don't go and... because I think... only be in the markets, let's say today, if you're a longer horizon. If you need the money in 6 months, then of course anything happens in 6 months. Even within the bull market, there are pullbacks.
Yep. No, very true.
So I think it really comes down to whether you need the money. But let's say today your age profile is somewhat, you have like a 20-30 year horizon. I think that if you look at, we are higher than where we were in the 08 crisis. We are higher before the 08 crisis. We were higher than where we were at the dot-com bubble. Markets just keep trending upwards over time.
Yes.
And a big part is also because of all the money printing that we spoke about, right?
Yes, exactly.
And I think most importantly as well, for there to be a burst of a bubble, there have to be a catalyst as well.
And what do you think that might look like for this case?
I think, to be fair, there's also some financial engineering shenanigans going on. Recently all the OpenAI investing.
All the investments, there is a I saw this picture of this meme, it's like a circular thing. They just
across all the semiconductor firms, across all the the cloud solutions, right?
Yeah.
So at some point in time, maybe the AI demand for all this is not as per projections lah.
True.
But
sorry, just a question for you. I understand that, and I guess me and you are quite aligned on this also. But maybe perhaps for the viewers, they are more risk averse, right? Like they are afraid of this sudden drop. What do you recommend, or what do you see as a potential rotation or kind of movement into? Should they take it out into, ETFs, indexes, or maybe we always make fun of it lah, but maybe SSB even? Like what do you think is the right, not right, but optimal kind of movement if they just don't want to experience that fluctuation, volatility?
Again, I think it goes back to two things, right? Your risk appetite and your age. Because really, if you have a 20-30 year horizon, the stock market will even itself out over it will definitely compound over time. So drawing out that money now, you're just not going to compound. You're going to lose, but potentially lose the compounding.
Right?
Yeah. But I think, so goes back to point one, what's your risk appetite? Of course, if you cannot sleep at night, then of course take some money off the table.
Yeah.
Nothing is worth that anxiety.
Correct.
So I think it comes down to your mental model as well, right?
Good point. Yeah.
If today you really cannot sleep, you really feel like you're feeling really anxious about it, then take 20% drawdown.
Fair.
Right, just to make yourself feel slightly safer, right?
Yeah, but I also feel on this note, right, you should never ever be out of the market, right? Like there should be no situation where you kind of completely exit and then you just go full cash or full, I don't know. I think like in the end of the day, if we take a long term horizon, we zoom out infinitely, right, the market just goes up.
So it goes back to the point, right? I think that's what both are discussing. They are discussing as well. Are you going to maintain your same allocation? To be fair, also you mentioned that you're 60% crypto, so your odd season hasn't came yet, so you're waiting for that.
Will it come?
Now they are saying 5 year cycle, not 4 year cycle.
Yeah, no.
Every year it doesn't come, they extend.
Yeah, going crazy. I don't know. Yeah, but for me, okay, look, I think crypto wise, right? If you ask me to speak just purely about crypto, I think all season will still come, but in a very different form. Touch wood. It will still come by in a very different form now. I don't think it will be parabolic like how we've seen in other cycles. It will be more of a gradual gain also. But I also feel that certain key players will outperform the rest in the crypto space for the altcoin side. But to be fair, you ask me, do you think they will change? I will say no. I don't think that there will be a massive kind of shift for me, my portfolio. Because end of the day, like I said at the start of this podcast, I have a conviction in all the ones I invested in. I'm here for 5 to 10 years, so I'm not going to remove. Will I draw down? If something urgent comes up, probably, but in the short term, I don't see that happening.
But what about the tech names in your portfolio? Will you think you'll cut some of it, given that there's this fear of the bubble, or for you because your horizon is so long term, for you're not fearful because you believe that these guys are long term compounders? Because to be fair, the last 10 years we've been hearing, tech companies are overvalued, but it just keeps going higher.
Yeah, no, I get that. So I think for me, in this case, the tech names, right? Look, if they dip, I'm going to buy more. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think these names that I'm in, I'm a big fan of them, and I think the potential to grow, their moat is going to be there for the next 10 to 15 years.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not worried. I'm really not worried, to be honest. In my mindset, and also to be fair, as a disclaimer, right, my life stage a bit different, right? Like, to be fair, I don't have many liabilities now. I'm in a space where I can kind of freely kind of put money into perhaps riskier assets or, have a longer term horizon view, right? And I guess cash flow wise, not that big of a pressing issue for me, right? You know what I'm saying? So
I understand.
I guess for every viewer, it's a different situation.
Yeah.
You guys have to have a different mental model, let's put it that way. Yeah.
And for me, I think the mental model was already tested somewhat this year already.
Oh, yeah.
In April, May.
Yeah, April, May was
when,
disastrous.
The market really drew down quite a bit, right?
Yeah.
And I mean, there are two things. One is you shouldn't be looking at your portfolio a lot. I mean, it increases a lot of anxiety. No matter how emotionless or rock solid you are,
you will never be.
When you see your portfolio go down 30-40%, I think it's not going to be a very enjoyable feeling.
Correct.
And so I think in April, it really tested everyone's resolve, right?
It did.
But I think we all went through and then look where we are. I mean, if you sold in April, look,
you lost out, right? To be fair.
I mean, it's almost 40% up since then.
It's crazy, and that's in how many months? 6 months.
Yeah, and
right.
in fact, you should take every sort of drawdown opportunity to add.
Yeah.
And then you'll be,
Yeah, I think to quote you, right? You always tell me about this, right? So first principles thinking, right? Always go back to that and find the ones that you're really, have a big conviction in, right? And to be honest, don't always rely on Twitter or Reddit or whatever, right? But kind of make your own informed decisions also. I mean, this is something basic. So that when it goes up, you're not too invested. When it goes down, you also have your conviction stays the same because this is your own research, your own time and effort that you spend to it. It's not some random guy, some influencer on Twitter, shilling this coin or whatever.
And I think you can afford to be data driven as well, right?
Correct.
I mean, the stock market wasn't invented yesterday.
Yep,
I mean,
exactly.
You have enough data to go back in history, right? To see where how the markets have grown over time.
Correct.
And it has grown through there's always that chart that shows that almost every year there's somewhat of an event, right?
Yeah.
Going
Boom.
Right, whether there's even in the 2015, 2016, there was some sort of oil crisis, right?
Correct.
But then the market soldiered through 08 crisis, 2000s dot-com boom. It soldiered through everything.
Yeah.
I mean, certainly our tech companies today are way better than the dot-com era. Companies, pets.com, right?
Yeah.
I think if you have a long-term view of things, again, depending on your age profile and your risk appetite, I think that you can don't be so worried and easily have conviction over your portfolio as well.
And also, I mean, in terms of maybe some closing thoughts, right?
Yeah.
I also think the investing should never be something that detracts from your whole life. Touch some grass, you know what I'm saying? Go out, you still have a life outside of your finances, right? I mean, yes, it's difficult, but go and spend time with family, with your good friends, with your girlfriend, boyfriend. Doesn't matter, there's still more to life than just this.
I think if, let's say today, they've already cautioned a bubble, right? I think there are one group of people who should be wary, actually. Those who are on tilt, those who are on leverage. I think if, let's say today, you're on a lot of leverage, but potentially you could, I mean, to be honest, the markets are already rising so quickly. Why? Why
do you need leverage?
From an additional edge, you try to, and because if you look, leverage is the one actually
it kills
the
traders.
Yeah, so I think for a group of people who are on tilt, maybe draw that back a bit,
I mean, the recent flash crash of crypto, I remember getting the Telegram notification from this channel I follow. 160 million in shorts liquidated in the past 10 minutes, and then just 20 minutes later 200 million in shorts liquidated. It's
I think
crazy.
For crypto, where you can make multiple, I don't understand why people want to be on there. It's just greed.
It's already such a exponential asset, right? Parabolic asset. It's you still want to go crazy on it.
But I think it's just greed, probably.
It is, but it changes people's life. You make one good trade, it could change your life forever, to be honest lah.
Correct. I agree, but I think the downside is not worth the. I mean, imagine some accounts are destroyed. You have a few million.
Yeah.
You're on tilt. You could go to zero immediately, because of leverage.
Absolutely true. And I've seen people on Twitter, right? I'm not sure if you've seen. They're posting their P&L for their crypto accounts. Minus 2.2 million, minus 800k,
Crazy.
600k. It's crazy.
There's infinite downside to shorting.
Infinite downside. And I think, that's their entire life savings, their life effort, their life work wiped out, in just one bad trade. It's crazy, to be honest. And I think on this point, I think people, when they see that, they also get a bit jittery.
It's very interesting. Let's say today you already made it already. Let's say, curious. Let's say today you already have, say, we talked about this in the previous episode, right? I can't remember which one. You said that 5 million you walk away already. If let's say today let's say 5 million how much will you put in like safe assets? You know what I mean? Like those that you will never put on risk assets.
Yeah. No, I'm gonna put like 75% into safe assets. Like if I already have this amount, why risk that same allocation onto all those riskier
like very high volatility assets?
It doesn't make sense because my entire risk profile will change with the amount of wealth I have. I think that's only natural, right? Like for you, will you change? Would you put more into crypto when you have 5 million? I don't think so.
My crypto allocation is not like you lah. So I think 10% it's a fair sum.
It's still a fair sum,
regardless whether what's your
but I will have a massive change.
Of course, yours is 60%.
Yeah,
that means you have 3 million in crypto.
I'm rotating everything out.
Imagine they take a 50% drawdown, that's 1.5 million.
Yeah. I'll just keep maybe 200k to be honest. 200, 300k.
Fair enough. So for you now, it's your growth stage, that's why you're more aggressive.
Yes, as we discussed, growth stage.
Okay. Yeah. Anyway, we went totally polar, completely diverted from the topic, but I think it's fine. I think it's fine discussion.
I think people honestly, at the end of the day, just make sure you do things you're comfortable with, right? Like don't need to watch people and try to chase their gains or whatever.
Exactly. Yeah. I think as long as you're not on tilt, you're not too much leverage. I think it should be
safe.
I won't say safe, but you won't get destroyed.
Correct.
Because what you don't want to do is get wiped out.
Correct.
So anyway, as long as the game keep going, you cannot lose.
You will not lose. Yeah, you will not lose.
You only can cause yourself complete. You can only be responsible for your own destruction if you get greedy, basically.
A little bit of bump in the road, but it's not a loss.
Okay. So let's move on to the next topic.
Sure.
Final topic for the day also.
Yes, final topic.
So our senior minister, Lee Hsien Loong, he mentioned that of course this is something we already know, where we need foreigners in our country, and everyone knows this because of course we don't have enough labor, right? So of course we need them to complement us, our workforce. But he mentioned that interestingly, immigrants should not go around popping champagnes which is 20k a bottle, should not zoom around their Ferrari or Lotus, so that I think the idea behind this is that it creates a lot of social discontentment, the perceived social discontentment.
Correct.
So obviously, with this comment, I think it creates a bit of a ruckus on Reddit lah.
For sure.
I saw a post that mentioned that isn't why we want them here is for them to spend this $20,000 on champagne and Ferrari because it brings tax for us.
It brings tax.
GST or that.
Macro gains.
9% GST on 2 million Ferrari.
Yeah, that's insane by the way.
So for nation building, right? And if today we tell them not to come here and spend, this is a bit, I mean, it also goes against like why we want them here in the first place, right?
Exactly.
Which is to bring the kind of economic value to us.
Yeah.
So I'm just curious, what do you feel about this? Or doesn't really bother you either way whether they come and spend or they don't spend?
To me, I'm happy if they come and spend, right? Because it's like, hey, look, you come and spend, right? Then you contribute to our economy, and then like it's overall a net gain, like macro-wise. It's like a public good when they spend money. I don't know.
You just want them to invite you, lah.
I mean, yes, if anybody watching, me and Terrence would love to, share that Magnum bottle, or Ace of Spades, whatever lah, we never tried before, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, I mean, to be fair, it doesn't really affect me because it's like, I mean, for me, it's like they live their own lifestyle, they earn the money, but then they use the money to do what? Leave in the bank, look at it, pretty, cannot be what they have to spend it, right? So I think there's always this implication that if you have excess wealth, then if you want to spend it, then you have every right to spend it because you did earn it, right? You know what I'm saying? And it doesn't affect me also as a person, right? It's not like you're using money to affect my lifestyle, make it worse. So why should I be that invested in how you spend the money?
But could you see there are some Singaporeans who will be upset by this?
Yes, because I think pragmatically, the mindset that they get angry is because they're like, how come this wasn't me?
Yeah.
Because now like you came to my country that's
a good point.
With the same amount of resources and opportunities, how come it's not me?
Yeah.
Right? Which is a very layered question, which I'm
yeah, I think it's because you can get jealous even for people who are overseas or whatever. I mean, there's so many different permutations of this.
But I'd like to just say also, right, I mean, to put things into perspective, because I think everything's relative. It's like if you're a Singaporean, you travel to perhaps a more developing country, I believe that people will look at the Singaporeans traveling there in the same way, in the same light. They're like, wow, this guy come here, do this, do that. You know, I feel like it's just the bane of the situation to be like that. That's how I look at it.
But I saw an interesting post by one of the Reddit users as well, and he mentioned that when they come in and spend money, because they spend a lot of money, one of the implications, I don't know the correlation here as well, could be that it drives up prices for everyone. So it's a very simple theory here and again, I'm not sure what's the implication.
Okay.
Like, they spend money, there's obviously a finite number of cars.
Yes.
If they buy a lot of cars, maybe one household they have 5 cars, there will also obviously be less COE or limit on number of cars for other people. So they drives up COE prices. And let's say today you're in a life stage where you need to own a car for your family. Then suddenly you went from buying the COE for 80,000 to 120,000, 150,000, and suddenly you have to add another 70k to
that's a problem,
to the cost of the car.
Yeah, no, that's actually a very good point. I think, I'm pretty sure this is not just limited to automotive in general, right?
Yeah.
To be fair, I think there's also other areas that this spending habits or this spending power will actually affect our own purchasing power as well. No, that's a very fair point. But there are just checking with you also. I don't think there's any immediate solution. I mean, for housing there is, but these other aspects, how can we stop foreigners from spending like this? I just don't think you can.
For me, I'm not in the camp of over-regulating everything. No, we spoke about regulating like labor and jobs. That one I'm a strong proponent, but I don't think you want to legislate everything also.
Exactly.
Because while I agree that if let's say today they are buying up a lot of there are limits on number of cars on the road, obviously.
Yeah.
But then the country needs to make a decision on the trade-offs, right?
Correct.
Is the economic value that they generate more worthy, or like the social convenience, And this is a very tricky question.
And I think people would detract from investing in this, Like, people will not want to come here if there's like a lot of restrictions about housing, and then or even cars, automotive, or other aspects, They'll be like, huh? Then I come Singapore for what?
But
just for the better tax, which is a huge thing.
As a Gen Z, as also someone who's might, in a few years' time, maybe have a family, right? I'll say, maybe let's look at how emotionally how you feel about this. Are you very bothered as 10, not bothered 1?
Currently, for me right now, not bothered. Like maybe 2 or 3, not bothered.
Yeah.
I think my emotional reaction is that, wow, I want to know how they landed up in this spot. For me, it's like, I'm not, my mindset won't be like, oh, I want to compare with this guy. I'm comparing, actively saying, oh, shit, I'm like, shit. That's not my mindset.
Or saying like, why I cannot afford certain things.
Correct. But my mindset will be like, wow, actually, wow, if he could do it, maybe I could also. You know what I'm saying? It's more kind of like a glass half full kind of thing. And trying to understand, how they got to that place also. And I also think in certain ways, these people being here, right, it opens doors for networking in the sense that maybe you won't get in, right? I don't know. Maybe you won't get into these circles, but it's like there is an opportunity for you to get into these circles, and I think that's something of merit.
I think what you're saying essentially that you feel like they still bring a lot of economic value.
Exactly.
That we actually will enjoy as well.
Correct,
so there's still a net benefit.
There's still a net benefit.
And that's the reason why you scored the way you scored.
Correct.
So I think that's fair. I think that's probably the reason why we still pretty much have quite a favorable policy on that front.
Yeah, I think we can learn from these people. To be honest, you never know what's their background, and you can.
He want to learn from you, so you can invite you to the 20th parties. Don't like.
China has a very big drinking culture for business. It's like I heard right. It's like if you cannot drink, you cannot do business.
Is it?
Which is why I've been telling you for the past 3 months. If we open business in China, we'll be gods.
Why don't you walk over to the office next door and ask for a transfer to our Shanghai branch?
Oh man.
But anyway, any final thoughts on this? I think actually it's fairly straightforward. I think where our mind state is, we are, to be fair, to be fully transparent, I think there are some people who are rightfully concerned because
Correct.
probably it impacts them a lot more. I don't think it impacts us enough for us to create a ruckus.
But we also recognize that their behaviors and it has an impact on daily life.
Of course. We recognize that, but I think it's also clearly what we articulate is not something that is impacting us a lot.
Correct.
Generate that angst for us to feel like there's a situation that needs to change here.
We are surprisingly optimistic about this scenario compared to the Agoda thing we talked about or whatever. But yeah, so,
I think to be fair, if you have a family and we need a car, we might feel differently.
Correct.
Yeah.
We might feel very differently.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I also think end of the day, sometimes things are just the way they are. You just have to kind of live in it, lah.
Sure.
Yeah.
Shall we close this for the day?
Yeah. But we also have a special announcement.
What's the special announcement?
The special announcement.
How come no alignment beforehand?
I'm also specially announcing to Terence, but we're gonna try to do a special. So we kind of want to show a bit more about our personal lives a bit. So we're gonna do a bit about maybe we go gym, or maybe you guys can follow us on a night out. You know what I'm saying? We will show you guys our favorite
we're not.
chest exercises or our favorite bars. And then we'll give a nice 8-minute montage. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So Terence is already aligned, and it's just about getting it done. So we're gonna get it
So
done.
the first thing we're going to do is Max is going to share the link to his travel TikTok. And please subscribe to his travel TikTok.
No. The travel TikTok needs some more time
Okay.
to
Alright.
marinate a bit.
Yeah.
But our special will come before the end of the year.
How about share your previous YouTube channel? Would that be? He was he did all the covers.
Yeah. If you guys can find a channel, I would give $100 to the viewer.
Wow.
Pay now. Yeah, if you guys can find that channel.
Okay, put it in the
I'll put it below.
Comments.
Yeah. If you guys can find the channel, you guys comment the channel. You can DM us, or if it's correct, I'll pay now you $100. $300.
Okay.
Alright, that's all for this week, right?
Yep.
Alright, thanks again for watching, guys. Take care.
Bye.
See you guys next week and subscribe.